Blackstone presents The Running-Shaped Hole, a Memoir, by Robert Earl Stewart. This book is read by Robert Fass. For my mother, a promise made, and for my father, a promise to my mother. What else does this craving and this helplessness proclaim, but that there was once in man a true happiness, of which all that now remains is the empty print and trace? This he tries in vain to fill with everything around him, seeking in things that are not there the help he cannot find in those that are, though none can help, since this infinite abyss can be filled only with an infinite and immutable object, in other words, by God himself. Blaise Pascal, Pensée. Prologue. A Deathbed Promise. While she was lying on her deathbed, my mother asked me to promise her that I would lose weight and get in shape. But even as she lay there, at 58 years old, dying from an insidious cytomegalovirus infection that was devouring her organs, I denied her that promise. I had the gall to make an excuse. Sitting at the foot of her hospital bed that June day in 2006, I looked into her desperate, dying face and told her, "I just don't have the time. I'm just too busy." Too busy being a writer who hadn't really written anything yet. Too busy being the editor of a weekly newspaper. I was too puffed up on my own self-importance to realize what a terrible son I was being. I wasn't a child, I was 32 years old, and I sat there in a chair pulled up to the foot of a hospital bed that my mother would never leave, too sad and afraid to make eye contact with the person who had brought me into this world. My father sat at the head of the bed, holding my mother's hand. I heard my name escape his lips, whispered with exasperated disgust. One could argue that my inability to make that promise to my mother stemmed from my wanting to remain in a state of denial about her health, wanting to pretend, even if only for a bit longer, that my mother was not dying. Making a promise of that magnitude seemed tantamount to admitting that this was, in fact, her deathbed. If I could persist in a state of stubborn self-delusion about my weight, which at the time was topping 300 pounds, and the impact it had had on my health for years on end, then surely I could also imagine a world—
Sample complete. Ready to continue?